Our journey has been a long time in the making. So back in the early 2000s, our leadership, they essentially identified an issue with the sports industry that even though we had a captive audience, we really didn't know anything about this audience. We didn't even know the people that were sitting in our seats in the arena. So they set out early on to try and solve this issue. And many years later, a lot of frustration, especially around the fact that we couldn't find a proper vendor to help us with this, or a third party to help us with this. We decided that it was time to do this on our own. So it was 2010, so the mobile market was starting to explode. So we decided that was the right platform to focus our efforts on. So fast forward into the future, and the clicker is not working. There we go. This is our second iteration of the Miami Heat app. And now we have 40,000 monthly active users on this platform. And we really have accomplished our goal of developing a 24/7 engagement tool that at the same time helps us learn from our fans and understand how they behave and how we can help them more. And this all started by building one piece of utility first, and that was mobile ticketing.
So as Dennis mentioned, once we finally got our technology in place, we felt confident enough to go to our executive leadership and say, we feel good about becoming the first NBA team to transition to completely paperless entry. So we were the, again, first NBA team to require the use of our app or the Ticketmaster app to enter the arena. And as you all might imagine, for a 20,000 person arena NBA game, this was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences for a lot of people. Ticketmaster had never done it. We're a Ticketmaster shop, and they had not successfully transitioned anyone to completely mobile just yet. But as Dennis mentioned, we felt really, really good about the product that we had to make this transition. And so as you'll see, our numbers were wildly successful. We had 85% mobile entry. Of course, there were some carve-outs, school trips, group visits. But interestingly, we had 35% adoption of our app. So in the 2015-16 season, we had 1 in 3 people entering the building via mobile altogether. And currently, we have 1 in 3 people coming in the building using our app. So we've done a really great job of increasing our user adoption for our app because we require you to use it to enter the building. And you'll see that some of the most challenging clientele that we have, our premium courtside seat holders, our season ticket membership group, we expected them to complain. We expected them to say, print my tickets. And what we found was that they were the biggest adopters of this. We attribute that to the fact that we built our app with our users in mind, right? We wanted to mirror the same experience that they had when they took a flight or when they called an Uber. And so we really think that was the contributing factor to our success with mobile entry. Once we got people on board with our app, we decided that we needed another way to keep them there, right? We didn't want you to just scan in using our app and kill the app on your phone, right? We wanted to give you another reason. You're already at our arena. How could we incentivize you to stay into our digital experience? And that was done through the mobile wallet. So anytime you come to the American Airlines Arena in Miami, if you use our app, you get 6% back in addition to whatever your credit card company gives you if you use our app to pay for concessions for retail at the game. And we saw an amazing uptick in revenue all across our business. Premium growth year over year was over 190%. Our retail growth, 254%. Total transactions this season alone were actually closer to 4,000. And spend growth year over year, 95%. For our corporate partners, so American Express got involved, and they said that they wanted to be the presenting partner of our mobile wallet. And we later found that the top payment method for the mobile app and for our mobile wallet is American Express. So now we have a way to reward our corporate partners who invested in us by giving them greater exposure and greater insight into our fans, into their potential clients as well. But that wasn't all. So once we we forced people to use our app to get into the building. We gave them a reason to stay in our app once they got into the building. And then we wanted to make sure that we could effectively communicate with them while they were there. So we took a different approach to push notifications for most sports teams. Most sports teams will send you the score, they'll send you the highlight, they'll send you a push with the cool play. We wanted to use our push notification as a 24/7 engagement tool, right? We wanted to deliver the right message at the right time to the right audience. And so we took a look at our app user base and segmented them out and developed push notification strategy for each of those groups. So we made it our rule that we would only send messages that drove business objectives. So playoff ticket sales, season ticket membership renewals, and promoting our mobile wallet. So you'll see an example of a push notification we sent to incentivize our members to renew. And when we get asked to send a push notification or to communicate something to all attendees, right, we ask the question, will this message create measurable value for us? So again, we're hyper-focused on how push notifications increase revenue, right? We don't want to display content, we want to drive the business forward. So we measure that through revenue and value generating actions, through purchases, through ad revenue from these. And we have a formal intake process, and this works two ways. For our internal clients, right, our staff who ask us for push notifications, it gives them visibility into our world, right? We want to be a digital organization. We have to let them know that our push notification channel is a protected space and that we have to protect how we communicate to our users. But it also makes our lives a little bit easier when we're collecting the graphics and the video and the copy and determining the time to send the push. Next slide.
So when we compare audience or revenue against the size of the audience, we have no higher conversions in any of our other digital channels than the Miami Heat app. Just to give you an example, in the month of April, we essentially made more money than social and it paid and organic with the Heat app, and in the month of April is one of our busiest retail months because playoffs is about to come on, so everyone is paying attention. And people were finding this shop button in the app, and it was all done organically. So we didn't have an actual campaign or a push notification to send to the fans to say, hey, go buy retail, playoffs this year. People found this naturally in the app, and we think that's very, very impressive when it comes to how the app was designed in order to create value and add utility for the users. And when we put that in perspective with our 22 million followers in social, it really is a testament to the power of an engaged audience. So now we've essentially solved the problem that we had at the beginning, right? We know more than ever about our fans and who's coming into our building. So we're taking everything that we learned from mobile as a foundation and are implementing different tools to help us essentially build a profile for every fan that's going into the arena. So now we can take all of our digital channels and combine them into a CRM tool that allows us to serve our guests better. So for example, our service staff gets an attendance report that helps them prepare so they can help our guests and provide a better experience at the gates. On the business side, our sales teams, they now get qualified leads that they can go and convert into either season tickets or partial plans or even single tickets for games. And on the marketing side, we now can segment our audience so we can send, as Derek mentioned, the right message to the right person at the right time. And we've managed to accomplish all of this while still keeping our users top of mind, and these awards speak to that. We believe in excellent and always providing an excellent user experience within our app. And we now compete with top sports apps like Bleacher Report, and if you take into consideration the only thing that Bleacher Report does is a sports app, I think that's pretty impressive. And we've actually won the Webby Awards in the sports category in 2017 and the Client Communication Awards this year.
So as you all hopefully have a little bit of insight into, we have really put digital at the heart of our business operations. And as a result, we forced the rest of our organization to get on board with it. So as Dennis mentioned, our marketing team has had to think about their processes. They've had to hire more people to do content for our app because we want to refresh our content every single day. Our basketball operations team has to get on board. We have to get players involved in this. As we mentioned, our memberships team and our account representatives now have better insight into their guests, so they know exactly when their member is arriving, and they can greet that guest right there, or they can meet them at the concession stand as soon as they make a purchase with their mobile wallet. And it was no easy task. It's been a very long time in the making, and we're just getting started. And we're really excited about continuing to build out that CRM, that 360-degree profile of our fan, so that we can continue to move our business forward. And we could not have done that without exceptional leadership. We understand that, and support from our executive team. And again, this commitment to digital, it affects your internal and external processes, but again, the fan experience is something that we've made at the core of what we do. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll take time for questions.
Hi, my name is Will Shalhoub. I work at Twitter for MoPub. Just a question. I mean, this is awesome. As an end user, I would love to use something like this. Have other teams or the league as a whole, or even other leagues, look to replicate this or adopt this?
Hopefully they follow our lead, but I believe we're one of the first to take this approach. We essentially, instead of going, there are many platforms in the league that have this off-the-shelf product that a team can just come and customize, make it look like their own, and put it out. We took the longer path of developing it ourselves.
Nate Shaw. I'm with a music app called Big Music Games. I loved your comment about how you took a very analog experience and tried to make digital a centerpiece of it, and how you had to get people on board, and it's not easy. So in our world, we're all about performances, gigs, concerts. Similar thing, though, we have apps that we're trying to drive. Can you just speak to just tell one resistance story of where people were like, but it's a basketball game, we don't want people looking on their mobile?
I'll let Derek speak to that one because he was very close to this.
Yeah, so our transition to mobile entry, right, there were a lot of operations in place. And so, I had to work very closely with our operations team, with our guest services team who had to deal with our fans. And, in the planning process, so I'll take a step back. In the 2016-2017 season, that was really our year of R&D, right? Research and development. We knew we wanted to make this transition, but we didn't announce it. Instead, what we did was we made all staff tickets mobile. So any Miami Heat employees, their family and friends, they had to go through our sort of product first. And then we made the transition to individual game buyers. So if you were just a one-off visiting a Miami Heat game, sitting in the 300 level, we did not allow you to print. We didn't allow PDFs. We said, try to use our app. And so that was really where we got a lot of the hard work out of the way, because our staff, they're very honest with us. They said, hey, your transfer process is horrible, right? Like, my grandmother didn't know how to accept her ticket. She couldn't get to the game. But at least we were testing it on our staff before we opened it up to 20,000 fans. And so, we planned for people to, for their phones to be dead, right? That was the number one concern, right? What if someone's coming from work to the game, their battery dies? How are you guys going to deal with it? We thought about, what about the senior citizen who doesn't have a cell phone, right? And I had all these plans in place, and not a single issue. And we're a year in, but, we made a major investment in charging stations, putting them all around the arena. 2 people use them.
Yep.
And so, you find that, I think the biggest learning there is that people are used to this experience, right? You don't assume that your client is not app savvy, right? People use Uber Eats, Amazon app. They're accustomed to this, and they want that same experience regardless of the field. So whether you're at a basketball game or whether you're trying to get food, you still want that same seamless experience. And, the way we communicated that was is that you're going to get into the game quicker. It's going to be easier process for you. You're not going to have to find a printer. Who has a printer these days at their house? Like, you can just simply transfer your ticket. So again, people like tell me it wasn't that easy. We didn't really have any resistance. And I think a large part of that is how you communicate too to your guests.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be around if you have additional questions.